Good, right, here we go, episode 11. We're joined by actor, fellow comedian and co-host of You Must Be Joking podcast, Eric Lalor. Welcome, brother, how are you?
I'm great, you're having us on. You're having us on. You must be joking.
It's very similar.
Talking bollocks. There's a bit of a pattern developing there, isn't there?
The hat trick. How are you anyway?
I'm good, yeah. Sorry, I know I was a bit late, lads. I completely forgot. You only sent me the directions last night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was going, right, nice one. I put in the air code and all. I was going, alright, that's not too bad. Do half an hour at my gaff. And then I'm sitting there watching AC Milan in Slovan Bratislava and the early Champions League kick off.
The old classic Champions League game.
the old classic. Oh, bollocks!
See this in the
That would have been me there now, the bleed microphone here around my neck. Yeah, prick you. You're too big for us, is it? But I was delighted because I thought you only had a certain hour allotted to the podcast, and I thought, bollocks, what the fucking they're up.
Yeah. No, you did, yeah.
What fucking
had to slip in 50 quid before we came in, you did.
Have you ever done one on your own?
We've done a few. We only had you, our third guest ever.
Oh, right, sound.
Yeah, you have the privilege, top three.
So
the top three guests so far.
And who else was the other one?
The Bricko fella.
Oh, no way.
You know him, yeah.
We used one of his sound bites. We did the Joe pub quiz last week in Club 22. First time ever doing it live, you know.
You were hosting for it, were you?
Yeah. Me and Ryan Carrick and bollocks, Ross McCartney.
That's
That's deadly. 3 years were hosting it, was it?
Yeah, well, so the Joe pub quiz is like one of the biggest things on Joe. Like 100,000 people play it every weekend online, right? For about 8 years. So they just got this idea, right? We're going to do it live. And we did it in Club 22. It was a little test run. So we invited loads of beating PR, press, and a few public heads. There was a waiting list of about 3,000 people to get in, and we couldn't let them in, obviously, you know. But it was all trial and error. It was like we had 8 rounds. There was an interval. I had this great idea that which I did with our own live podcast show. If you're ever doing a live podcast shows, boys, and I'm sure you will eventually, what you should do is, right, and this happened in the Laughter Lounge when we did the show. We'd Roddy Collins on, we'd his son on, we'd Kieran Moran on, and it's 2 45-minute halves, like a football match, right? Yeah. But at random, like, now I announced it at the start. So now, ladies and gentlemen, you're all very welcome to the You Must Be Joking live podcast. But when you hear this sound and an air siren goes on, everyone's stood up on their feet, and then a rave tune kicks in.
It's deadly.
And they're all off like that.
Gets out going. And
it just keeps the energy in the room.
Yeah,
because they all sit down and they're all going, oh, jeez, that was fucking gas. Did you see him on over there? That's all. You know? And you have to wait a few seconds for it to die down. And then you can carry on the conversation again. And then boom. So we did that in the pub quiz as well. And it went down a bleeding storm. Someone said, I can't believe I'm not at Bingo Loco. You know, because it was like that, confetti cannons and all that.
Yeah.
But there's loads of questions, and we got celebrity questions as well. So Paul Mescal sent us in a question, you know. So his face comes up on the screen. All the guys like, oh my God! It's on the screen. He's not really here. And he asked the question, and we got Jamie Dornan. You know, man, he did 50 Shades of Grey, the Northern Irish fella.
I watched it, boy.
Took notes.
We had another one as well, but we didn't do it. We're going to save for the next one. We went off Barry Keoghan as well. So
yeah.
So,
big hairs.
Yeah, like it's not like a quiz. We don't want people to come to the quiz who are bleed geniuses.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? Because you get people like that who just do quizzes all their life.
You need someone who's not a genius. You have someone here that
obviously you need to know your stuff. Right, but it's not the be all and end all that you know every single answer. We're looking for people to be a bit of crack as well, like, you know. So we'll spot someone in the crowd doing a bit of good dancing, whatever, and go right up here and spin the Joe Dowlin wheel of destiny. So they come up and they spin the wheel. Joe Dowlin, yeah. So every time the wheel is spun, it's just such a good woman, and then it stops on a prize. It could be a bag of cans. It could be €100 cash prize.
I fucking done that. I done Bingo Loco with the job, and it was a bag of Dutch gold I won. And I had to do one on stage. I had the neck one on stage. It was the first one to go up.
Where was that?
It was in 22 as well. But that was with Bingo Loco. That was like 2 or 3 years ago.
I used to host Bingo Loco.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's how it's serious fun. Like fun. It's serious crack, but that's mad culture.
It's very serious, yeah. It's a very serious game of bingo. With the odd sound thrown in. Just give people a break in the numbers.
That's definitely the first time you ever had Dutch gold as well, was it?
Yeah, and the only time. Like, I've never drank it. Have you drank it before?
No, we didn't do that as kids. We wouldn't have been like Dutch gold.
No. Linden Village.
That would have been when we were kids,
Yeah, we were like bottles of Wicked.
Yeah.
Bottles of Wicked.
Yeah.
Like he just went for the sweet flavour.
Yeah.
New
He was a bit fruity.
What's the mic there, pal? I'm very conscious of you there. This is your podcast. You like that?
Sorry, I told you. Put me back
He's
in
not used to things around his head level. It's not that way. He's usually looking up at everything. Like, so he's not used to it. But
I'm done.
that's a good idea.
I've made a fatal mistake when I did my first bit of drinking as a kid, right? You know, it's a rite of passage as every teenager in Ireland, even before I was a teenager, some people. Me and the boys of Guiness, we went up to this off licence because he always served underage people. I'm going, right, tonight, lad, we're going, okay, drink. So we obviously didn't know what to get, like, you know. So I just went up to him, man, and he says, what do you want? Gives a 6-pack of Guinness.
What age are you now?
Like 15 or something, right? And I was walking around Premier Dairies and Finglas, and all the boys had cider, nice drink, you know. Yeah. And me with 6 bottles of Pox of Guinness. And I was like that. And I was lacing into the bushes and all going, oh lads, I'm pissed. Fucking gay I am.
Split the G on this can, yeah.
Split the gay I was like, and I never touched Guinness again till about 2 years ago.
Really?
And now I'm back on the Guinness again, big time, yeah.
You like it, yeah.
Love it.
I like it around Christmas time.
Oh yeah, it's a winter drink now in fairness.
Yeah, I'm the same like that, yeah.
I did, actually, do you know what it was? I do a bit of work for Joe.ie, right? And I was doing a video for Guinness, the new bleeding, they have this yoke device that you stick on it, and you plug it in, and it kind of gives the Guinness the head kind of thing, like it's a widget or some sort, you know what I mean? But I had to do a video.
Where'd you get one of those? Something that gives it a bit of head, that'd be good.
And it gives you head. But yeah, straight away. Just plug it in. Great.
Don't listen to her, she's grand.
But sorry, you were saying about the ad you were doing?
And it was just a video, and it was a demonstration on the technique of how to do it. And obviously, like, we were doing it in someone's kitchen, and there was a couple of points there, and I was going, oh fuck this, I'll try it.
Yeah.
I was going, do you know what? I'm finally grown up now. Finally grown up and drinking Guinness, and I haven't looked back since, you know.
Yeah, that would turn you off though when you have a bad experience when you're younger. Big time.
Like, I mean, Elfless have palates for Guinness. That's why I've only recently got into it.
Yeah.
Like, on my teenage years growing up, I was on lagers. But even there, they take alcohol taste out them. But I went for fucking Guinness. Yeah. The most dour taste in alcohol. Unless you want to sponsor our podcast, it's fine tasting. It's a fine tasting podcast.
Have you ever seen the In-Betweeners? You ever see when your man Will goes to the off license and he buys a load of wine and fucking crisps and all for his mate? They're fuming. They give him like 50 quid and he comes out with loads of crisps and peanuts and all.
Doritos, the whole lot.
Gas. Great show.
I was actually going to what you just touched on it there, so I'm just going to talk a bit about yourself, obviously, if that's alright.
Yeah, just my head is. Can you just turn that mic towards you?
Yeah, I was going to say the same
turn the mic. There you go.
I'm at the pressing that card. Is that muted? I do this all the time. No, it's not muted.
No, it's still going.
Imagine now for the next hour, it's just using it.
Yeah.
Man, it's fucking liquor.
Where's that button? Where is it?
But I was going to say, right, so obviously he introduced you there. Introduction oven.
Just bounce all the time here, isn't it? That was a great introducing.
You should have seen me an hour ago in spot on. No, but you did. So obviously, yeah, you do with the acting, you do stand up. But if we go back to the start as well, you know the way you're saying you're working for Joe now. Yeah. So you were there like 10, 11 years, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm the longest serving member of Joe now at this stage.
Hey.
Yeah. The whole company's completely changed from back to front, and they just kept me on. Now I'm only there like on a retainer. I do 1 day a week with them. And that's usually the podcast now at this stage, you know what I mean?
Oh shit, that is it. Like.
Yeah, it's in the Joe Studios. So the podcast is in association with the Laughter Lounge and Joe. Yeah. So Joe obviously provide the reach for us, you know what I mean? So any of our clips that go online, fucking hundreds and thousands see them, like, you know what I mean? We did one there with Tommy recently, Tommy Tiernan, talking about Roddy Doyle. Did you see that clip yet?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. What was it again?
So he says,
podcast already.
He says, I was telling him a story about, you know, when you're an actor, you're always that character. Right, so I tell them a story about Daniel Day-Lewis in the Savoy, and Tommy goes, I have a bleak. Roddy Doyle tells this great story about being in Dublin. He says he was at the height of his fame at the time, you know, writing plays, TV work and all that. He was on the Late Late Show and everything, and he's walking on his few boys in Dublin. How are you? Roddy Doyle looks over and goes, yeah, Mayor. Roddy slowly goes over and he goes, you Roddy Doyle? Roddy goes, yeah. So what? Isn't that just amazing? Like, you know what I mean? Roddy's standing there going, All right.
That is brilliant. That's how Dublin, isn't it? Like, fucking hell,
You can never get carried away with yourself.
No.
You'll always be humble,
which is great, which is what you need, you know.
No, you're right. It is what you need. I think that's why Dublin people do so well when they do make in their field.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like, what I was talking about there was Joe. Like, so that video clip alone, like on TikTok alone, is over 500,000 views. You know what I mean? But like since we started the podcast in February, I think we've done 30 episodes. I think it is, and the clips in total have reached like 9.3 million views. It's just fucking bizarre, that's like, you know. And we still haven't got a sponsor. But it's coming, isn't it?
I'm preaching to the fucking choir here.
But fucking guys.
Yeah, so fucking 11 years in Joe. So you started comedy. Well, so do you want to? Go ahead.
At the gate.
I was a comedian who went into Joe, so I was a comedian already, and I was doing a bit of acting already, and then. What happened was, I remember I was on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter anymore, but I used to be on it. And a fella who used to own Joe was a fella called Noel McGarry, and he was advertising. And I love when people are advertising jobs. I always retweet them and go, you know, somebody might be looking for the job or whatever. Yeah. And he was posting about some positions in Joe, but they were all in accountancy and all that, you know. And he slid into me DMs and he went,
as they do.
Yeah, shared a bit of an account there. And I says, yeah, I'm be bollocks. But I just like spreading the good word, like, you know, in case somebody's looking for the job. And I says, but if you're looking for somebody who can write stuff, I'm your man. And he goes, what can you write? He says, well, English, you know. He says, I was always good at writing, you know. I mean, obviously it comes with comedy, you have to write, you know what I mean? Yeah. So he asked me to write something on a football match or something like that, and I gave it, and he went, Jesus, come in to me. So we had a couple of meetings, and then he offered me a salary, and I was full time there, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. And it was great. I mean, like I've done so many amazing things with Joe over the years, you know what I mean? Like, Route 66, like, you know, I went across America on the back of a motorbike. And that was one thing they sent me on. I went to the Champions League final in 2017 in Berlin, Juventus and Barcelona. I had full access to the training sessions before the games. And then I went to the final in the hospitality area with all the corporate hunts. And did a pub quiz that day. Marco Van Basten was the quiz master. I won the pub quiz. I got a signed Iniesta jersey.
That's fucking
bizarre. And then a brilliant final. Barcelona won 3-1 in the final, and I was like, and I had the best seats in the house. So all of them things over the years I've done with Joe, and there's loads of. Oh, they sent me to Seattle as well for the start of the U2 World Joshua Tree Anniversary Tour.
Yeah, and you got to meet Bono.
I met Bono and all, and the boys, and
Bono knew who you were as well. Huh? Bono knew who you are.
Yeah, well, that's what he said, you know. But like as I said, like they do a check on everyone that's coming to interview them, like, you know.
But so still, he knows your name, his name.
Yeah, he went, all right, Bono, what's the story? My fellow Northsider, like I said, and he goes, hey, Eric, I know who you are. He obviously watches Fair City, you know.
That's brilliant.
But then, so after the year, it was coming to about a year in Joe full time. I was kind of going, look, it's great and all that, but it was getting in the way of gigs. Like, say I'd be in Cork on a Wednesday night doing a gig, and I wouldn't be home till 2 or 3 in the morning, and then I'm back in work next morning at 8 o'clock. Rough. Fuck that, it was killing me, you know.
Yeah. And then there was last minute gigs and all that as well. It's hard to walk around that,
And then auditions were coming up, and I wasn't able to do them because I couldn't commit to it if I got the part, you know.
Yeah.
So I just said to them, look, is there any chance I can go part time? And they went, well, what do you want to do? I said, well, 2 days a week. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, oh, fucking nice one. And then that after another year, it went down to 1 day a week, and I'm still there, like, you know. But it's a great company. Like, it's a completely new ownership now, completely new staff. But it's back probably better than it's ever been in terms of.
Oh, it's class.
It's unbelievable. Yeah.
That's why I brought it up, because another way now it's pretty big for people online. Like, like you're saying Ryan Carrick and stuff there. So they obviously do the sketches and stuff.
Yeah.
And now they come on board there. Yeah. You would have been probably the first famous person to go
in
on
Joe.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I'm trying to think what's around there. Well, they would have used a lot of influencers and comedians over the years, but I don't think they ever had anyone on their staff.
Oh, really?
You know.
Yeah.
So. And then I remember getting
paid a salary, like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then
or whatever.
Yeah. So I just kind of, I mean, I was good for them as well, because I had a lot of contacts, you know, in the acting and the comedy game. So when they were doing some online shows, I'd be able to ring people up and get them in for them, like, you know what I mean. So they were, I proved me worth that way, like, you know. And every time we had live events, I'd host them, because I'm used to, you know, being on stage, I suppose. You know what I mean. Ryan and Ross would be less experienced at going on stage, but they were there as my kind of co-host. So I was like the main host, if you know what I mean. Welcome to the blah, blah, blah. And then we'd have little sections in the show. The Joe Dowlin Wheel of Fortune or whatever, and the boys would take over then, and they go into the crowd and they do vox popping with some of the people, getting funny stories out of them, and then they bring them up on stage, and then I take over again once the round start again, you know what I mean?
That sounds deadly, yeah.
But the boys, it was deadly it was, and the two lads were brilliant. We were all really nervous because we didn't know, we've never done it before, and we're kind of going, Jesus, this could be a car crash.
I'd call that a job, like, innit? Like, you're going out to have a laugh on stage.
Well, this is it, yeah. Like, I mean, there's a lot of tedious stuff as well, but most of it is, like, it's a lot of fun. It's a great place to work, you know? As I say, like, that's the reason I did it as well, because you were still kind of in the entertainment business, if you will, but just not performing as much. Like, you'd be writing stuff in the background kind of thing, or doing videos.
Yeah, building your connections and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it has helped me, you know? It really has. But, so Joe's been a big part of my life over the last few years. And
that's why he keeps doing it, because he keeps moving me there.
Yeah, he's moving on you.
Sabotage! Sabotage! I thought it was a poltergeist. I've seen him moving by himself.
We're going back there.
I might fucking haunt it.
Wait, there is something in that tea, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going back, right? So. Going back, so obviously you were a comedian going into Joe.
Yeah.
Was your first stand-up gig was with Des Bishop?
Des Bishop, yeah.
So the show, what was it called again?
Joy in the Hood.
I should have known that. I watched it a while ago. It was fucking
on
brilliant.
YouTube, yeah, it's a magic show.
Watched it. Tell them when we watched it.
When did we watch it?
We did a gig. We did a gig down in...
You did a gig?
So we do comedy as well.
way.
Yeah. We're only like 6 months in.
I assumed he knew
I
that.
was trying to get to that and you just wanted to jump ahead of us.
Sorry.
So we're 6 months in.
Brilliant.
Yeah, and we both started off.
Big
doing
fan, are you?
I've got all your albums. I seen that Netflix special you did last week. Fucking amazing. 27,000 people. Fair fuck's it. Just started 6 months ago.
For me. But we did something similar. We done a course to get into comedy.
Right.
I know yours was a bit different. It was on TV. It was all recorded. But you just kind of prepped to go.
Yeah, it was a workshop we did. Yeah. Who'd you do it with?
So I done one in Bow Street with Stephen Mullen.
Oh yeah. I used to go to Bow Street as well.
Did you? Yeah.
I was in Stephen's class.
Right.
Yeah. So I know Stephen years, like, you know what I mean. And Barry Keoghan was in our class.
Yeah,
as well.
I know he was in the class already. Yeah.
But Bow Street, that was a great one because Stephen does them. I did a couple of gigs for them. Like at the end of the year, the actors they'd have that Christmas party and they'd bring in a couple of heads that used to be, like I was one of them, so I went in, I think Stephen did half an hour as well, I did half an hour as well. So you did yours on Bow Street.
Yeah.
And did you feel it was beneficial?
Who's
interviewing who here?
We got him.
Eric, you do all the talking.
It was. It definitely got us. He done it as well.
You did Bow Street as well?
No, I did the Crack Den.
Oh, yeah, with Damo.
Aideen.
Aideen's great. Yeah.
That's what we did. We did it at the same time, like his started 2 weeks before mine or whatever.
And who's funnier?
Look at a man in the dress.
Where have you done your gigs? Have you done any gigs?
6 months now, we're still waiting.
No, we do. In and around Dublin, the underskirts, the little basement jobs where people don't really like to go down. No, we've done a few good ones. We like
it's not. That makes it sound like we've done like the likes of. You probably wouldn't know a lot of them as well.
I know.
Like Stitches, we would know.
Stitches, yeah.
We did a movie with the lads in Stitches.
Yeah, I was there the weekend. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was there.
I've done Stitches a few times. Yeah. When you've done the Comedy Crunch.
No, not yet.
Put that on your list.
Yeah,
I'll have one with Danny. That's why you got me on, isn't it? Here's your new booking agent, isn't it? Fuck's sake. The whole podcast of me giving you numbers, isn't it? Right. So Daniel Bryan is always 7, 6.
Deadly. But that's a hard one to get into, obviously. Well, different for you, obviously, but for starting out and all, that's
it's the hardest thing in the world, like, especially when you're starting. We were lucky, I suppose, because we had that TV exposure, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even then, like, when we did it, to when it was broadcast, it was about 9 or 10 months. So we did it, and then 9 months passed, and then the TV show aired. And after that, people were more receptive to giving us gigs because, like, we were going up to people going, "We're going to be on Des Bishop's new TV show." Yeah, fuck off. Where are we at? Bring him. Have you got his number? No. Send her a message on Instagram. Do you know what I mean? Like,
this is years ago. That was like send them a board. Send
a carrier pigeon. Blow your fire. And it was. Yeah, so it's at the start, like, so what me and Willa did at the start was, in order to get ourselves more stage time, because it's very crucial at the start of your career that you get as much stage time as possible, so you can make all your mistakes and learn how to do it. And we set up our own comedy club out in Ballymun in the Axis. And it was called the House of Fun Comedy Club, you know, House of Fun, Ballymun Comedy Club. And it was brilliant. We used to run it once a month, and either I'd host it or Willard host it. And if I was hosting it, Willard would do 15 minutes or 10 minutes, whatever. And then we'd switch around the next show, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but we got everyone out. We got Tommy Tiernan out, Des Bishop, Jason Bourne, Peter Gallagher. All the big guns were like, fuck it, we'll give the lads in Ballymun a dig out, like, you know.
That's class.
And we ran it for about 2 years, and it was brilliant. But then things just started to take off for both of us, and we just didn't have time to devote to the club, like, you know what I mean? There is still talk about us doing it, maybe again once or twice, even just do 1 or 2 anniversary specials or something like that. Yeah,
that'd be deadly.
But
that's basically what me and him say. That's kind of what Dublin would be fucking dying, screaming out for.
Yeah,
people like yourselves, the big lads coming together.
Yeah,
and as you said, once a month or whatever, something like that, man. That'd be fucking epic.
Well, it's only even recently. Like, I mean, obviously, me and Will are like very close and all that through comedy, and like we never knew each other before comedy. You know, before
really?
No, never knew.
So you're originally from Finglas?
From Finglas, yeah.
He's from Ballymun.
He's from Ballymun. Well, he's originally from Ballymun, and then he moved out of Ballymun, and then I moved into Ballymun. Like, you know what I mean?
You'll get him one day.
Yeah. I didn't take it personally. I was like, why did he leave? But anyway, but even when Joy in the Hood started, well, I wasn't living in Ballymun at the time. You know what I mean? I was living wherever he was living.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had moved out at that stage, but he still had the big roots in Ballymun. Like, you know what I mean? And everyone in Ballymun now, everyone in fucking Dublin knows Will. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ! You ever walk down Henry Street with Will? Fucking hell! It's like walking down the street with the Lord Mayor.
I'd love to.
You say, alright, Rocky, alright, Macca, alright, Tomo, alright, Spala, alright, Polly, what's the story? And you're like, well, I just asked you how's it going, and you haven't said that to me because you're fucking saying hello to half of Henry Street here, like, you know what I mean? That's what he's like, you know. But
did you do one before that? Yeah. So for people that don't know, you've done a show with Des Bishop where he basically prepped people. He was, would you say, disadvantaged areas?
Yeah, disadvantaged areas.
He went around.
So he did 6 episodes. Ballymun was the 4th episode. He also did Knocknaheeny in Cork, which is rough as fuck.
Is it? Yeah.
He did what's it called in Limerick beside Ground Hill or something like that. I can't remember the fucking name of it, but it's another rough area.
Oh, you said Limerick, we got that.
Oh, blind boy's not listening to this. He's trying to get away from that, you know. What's it? They did the Loyalists up on the Shankill Road in Belfast.
So he's gone to the depth, and then Ballymun. Lovely area. It's a lovely area.
He did the Nationalists in the Bogside in Derry, and he did the Travellers in Tuam in Galway. So it was full on, and it was a really successful show for him, like, you know. But to this day, like, he did 6 episodes with about 7 or 8 participants per show, but only me and Will are the only 2 still doing it.
Still doing it.
That's crazy. And not just still doing it, like, he's our fucking
smashing it.
Oh, like, it's going well, yeah. And the podcast is like, I know it's only been going since February or whatever, but like you were saying, it's great that the 2 of us get together now to do a show, like, but that's happening a little bit more frequently now. Like, people are booking us going, can we get the 2 of you down to, like, we did a show on Tulka Rovers there a couple of weeks ago, you know, up in Finglas, a football club, you know. Yeah. And it was fucking place was rammed. We just said, your man says, would you do it? And I just said to Will, will we do it? He said, fuck it, why not? And we got Joe to MC, Joe Dowlin.
Yeah.
And we went down. I think they said they put the tickets up one day, and within 24 hours they were all gone. You know, and it held about 200. You know, and the place was hopping. And like, even now, I'm walking around Finglas or Ballymun, and people are going, that was a fucking great gig in Tulka Rovers. So more and more people are booking us to do that, like, you know what I mean? And it's great. We get to hang out with each other even more, like, you know what I mean? We have a bit of skit together, like, you know. So we have all these big shows coming up in the Ambassador, and that's what I was telling you. Joe better not be fucking late, because we're there on Wednesday.
You're setting a good example. Don't worry.
Oh Jesus, yeah. How am I to talk?
I told you though. Do what I say. Don't do what I do.
What a character, Joe. I love him.
He was here the day before that show.
Yeah, I just ringing the bell there. He was talking about the
Tulka.
Yeah, right. He was here the night before. So
that would have been a Thursday then he was here.
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. We arranged for it to be on Wednesday, and he came on Thursday.
That's Joe all over.
And you were meant to be here the next night.
Did you do anything like that beforehand? So obviously, you're doing acting now, fucking been on Fair City and stuff like that, and comedy, podcasts, and Joe for 11 years. Before that Des Bishop show,
No, I
did
had a
you
good
do
job.
anything like that?
I had a good job. I used to work in a company called IBM. They're a computer hardware software company, American multinational, like, you know. Excuse me. And they're like all over the world, like a global fucking company. Like, and I started off in production on the assembly line, and then moved up through the rankings and went into the offices, and I was working in sales. And at the time of going full time for comedy, I had a good job with a pension, health plan, good salary. And I told this story before on the podcast, but I'll tell you it's because you'll have new listeners that probably haven't heard it.
Did you put your lip when he said pension? I think he did. I think he bit his lip when he said pension. He bit his lip.
Can you hear the sound of biting lips? That's a fucking incredible hearing you've got there, pal.
Only when he bites his lip. Only when he bites his lips. So many teeth.
You heard the sound that went, that sounds like someone biting their lip.
Not just someone, that's his lip.
Hang on. Can you hear that? So where are we? Oh yeah, so this is the job, right? So I done the Des, but no, I didn't quit the job the minute I got the Des Bishop thing because I was only starting then. I was about 2 years into comedy when I said, right, fuck it, I'm going to give it a go. Because I started getting booked for festivals and started getting the headline places and all that. And I went, right, fuck this, I'm going to go for it. But on one of the occasions before that, I had won this big award in work, right? This IBM Global Salesforce Award, right? And what happens is every 3 months, they reward some of their staff. They're nominated by the managers, and then they're picked, and they fly them to some city in the world and wine them and dine them for the whole weekend and spoil them rotten.
Nice.
And the weekend I won was in Rome, and we flew in on the tours. We stayed in the top hotel in Rome, right? My missus was like, fucking hell, Eric.
Yeah.
And 24 other winners from like Japan, Australia, America, Britain, all that kind of stuff. And every night they'd bring us out to a top restaurant. Every time we went back to the hotel, there'd be gifts on the pillows, like a watch for me, there'd be earrings for her.
Yeah.
Now, Will, I heard this story, so you sure you're in the right room? You're not just robbing the place. But it was like that, you know, and like so they brought us to the Colosseum, and everything was paid for, right? And then on the last night, they said to us, right, I want everyone, all the couples down in the lobby at 6:30, dress formally, you know. So I took my tin of fruit on, the missus stuck a nice frock on, you know, and outside the bleeding hotel.
Croc shaped like a frog.
Oh no, nice frock. So outside the hotel was 24 horse-drawn carriages, all right, for each couple. And we got into the horse-drawn carriage, and I went up through the hills of Rome up to this palace, and we were greeted by all these fucking knights and guards and all that. Went in, we had a 7-course meal, right, and there was opera singing and all, right. And my missus turns around to me like during the middle of course 4 or whatever it was and goes, if you think you're quitting this for comedy, you can fuck right off. But I did, you know, and she's still with me. She's going, eventually we'll make it, you know, so I'm still here. No regrets, you know. Obviously, there's times when you look back and you go, because it's obviously hasn't been always plain sailing. It's been tough, you know, making ends meet and making, you never know, like the comedy work is so inconsistent that you don't know when your next paycheck is coming in. It's very hard to plan stuff, you know. Yeah. So I kind of, there have been times when I go, geez, I shouldn't have done this to the family, like, you know what I mean? I should have stayed where I was.
Because how many kids would you have had at that stage? 4.
At that stage even.
That was a big leap of faith, like, you know. But I mean, I spoke to a lot of people. I remember Dad's obviously was one I spoke to about it. He was like, man, I think you got it. I think I'd hate to meet you in 10 years and saying you should have fucking went for it, man. Just fucking go for it, bro. I don't know. All right, Daddy, right, I will. I'll fucking go over it. And I went for it. And my missus has been on the phone to him once a month for the last 5 years going, you fucking prick, Bishop.
The tour of every month, ring days.
Remind him what a prick he is.
And when are we saying there? That was about 20 years ago, was it?
I'm doing comedy now. Me and Will would have done it in 2006, 18 years now.
18. That was only 2006, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, right, Jesus, yeah. Well, I was going to say about our story. We did a gig down in, it was either Wexford or...
I'll tell you.
Where?
No, I don't know. I'll keep going. I'll tell you which one.
What's the one we did again? Near you. The mad place. What's that called again? Mullingar.
Oh,
Mullingar or Wexford, right? It was one of them we were doing a gig in. So we drove down and one of the lads was telling us about this show. I think you might have heard of it, but you never watched it, did you?
Yeah, it was Evan, I think it was.
Yeah, our mate Evan, he's a comedian as well. And we said, you know what, on the way home, we said, we'll go in and get a curry and we'll put this on then. And we watched it on YouTube and we're like, this is fucking...
Join the Hood?
You watched that together, yeah? Yeah, we watched it together.
It's deadly.
We look so young in it. It's mad looking. Like, and that was the thing as well. If you remember back to that episode, right, I was still in IBM, but I was away. I nearly didn't get the thing in Enjoying the Hub because I did the audition, right? And then they rang me about a week later and says, yeah, we'd like to use it. And I was like, fucking hell, nice one. Yeah. And then they told me the dates and I went, say it was a Sunday they were starting, right? And I says, oh, jeez, I'm away. I'm not back till the Wednesday. I was in Las Vegas at a sales conference for IBM, like, you know. Yeah. And I said, look, I kind of sensed it was a big opportunity though, you know what I mean? So I said, look, I'll ring IBM, tell them I'm sick. And they just went, he's a mad cunt. He's going to turn down Vegas for us. Yeah, so they just went, no, look, go to Vegas and you can join us later. So in that episode, the boys have already formed a bond, like a new class. And I come in 3 or 4 days later on my own and they're like, Eric's a new guy, let's all give him a hug. I was like, for fuck's sake. Cringiest moment in my life, the whole lot and come up and give me a big hug.
What's the audition like for that? Obviously you didn't have to do stand-up. Was it just talking to you?
Yeah, it was just, so it was like, Des had just broken through at that time on RTE. He did a show called The Work Experience, so he worked a lot of minimum wage jobs, right. And he did stand up about it, and so he was already becoming a big star. He was always
a good idea as well. Material.
Yeah.
Do a minimum wage job, I do stand up. That's the thing.
He's doing it 5 months.
So he's on the Late Late Show, but I kind of vaguely knew him. So when I walked into the Access that day, and this girl gave me a form and he filled out my name and address and to answer these 5 questions in a humorous kind of way, you know. so I was looking at her going, do you know when I tell you a few jokes? And she went, no, there's an interview now. And I was going, a fucking interview? What's this all about? Like, you know, because I never mentioned on the form nothing about TV or Des or nothing. It just said, do you fancy trying out stand-up comedy workshops? And I said, fuck it, I'd like to give it a go.
So you're walking into nothing. You could have been just a little workshop.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought it could have been. Mad. And then I walked upstairs and the door opens and there's a big TV camera there, another camera there, and Mike Casey, the producer, and Des walks over and he goes, hey man, I'm Des Bishop. And I was going, oh, you're that American fella? Yeah, the fella that does the work experience. Goes, yeah, man. And then he started explaining to me what it was. He says, look, we just want to chat to you for a few minutes. And he asked me stuff like, what do you find funny about Ballymun? What do you find, any funny stories from when you were growing up? What do you think of, I don't know, whatever political situation was going on at the time? And I just spoke with him and he laughed a couple of times and I was going to myself, oh yeah, nice one. But it's only he's just doing that to make me feel good as well, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. But luckily enough, and then about a week later, as I said, I got the call and he said, and Des always says, you stood out, Eric. He says, because all the heads that went in for the audition were all in that tracksuit. And I walked in a suit.
Did you? Were you in a suit?
Well, I wasn't a full suit. I remember I was wearing trousers and I had a shirt and it was pissing rain, so there was an anorak over the shirt, but I walked in. And it still looked a hell of a lot smarter than anyone else there, like, you know.
A pair of rocks.
So yeah, that was a big difference
there. Yeah. And he said, you just stood out a little bit, you know. And he said, we couldn't get over the fact that someone from Ballymun had a job. A good job.
He's actually, bring up fellas, was it?
It's Godfather.
Godfather, yeah. I was going to say. Yeah, that's mad. A little triangle thing.
There you go, yeah. All matches up.
I know, yeah. What's it? 5 points of separation? 6 points of separation?
What's that?
Listen, I'll talk to you later. I'm here all day.
Listen, we don't believe any of that shit.
But before, obviously before that, you said you never did stand up, or you never. So why did you want to get into it? Because you're in your 30s as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big leap of faith. Like,
so basically, you know, like in school, you're always people would say you're always the class clown and all that.
Yeah.
I loved making people laugh. I always in school be doing impressions, I'd be just doing impressions to the teachers and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And even when I moved into the job in IBM and I was in production, if somebody was leaving the job, right, say they'd be finishing up on the Friday, I'd type up this big fucking obituary about them.
Giving out about them?
Ripping the piss out of them. Right, and I'd go out onto the factory floor in front of 200 or 300 people and I'd read it out. So John is leaving today. John was known for wanking in the jacks. You know, this kind of stuff, but it went on and on. And every time someone was leaving, they'd go, Eric, such and such is leaving, will you write them? I was going, all right. And sometimes I know them, sometimes I wouldn't. I go, I don't know them, just make up something. All right.
John used to wank in the jacks.
Would you like to clear up them allegations about the shoe you opened in your car that night? Anyway.
He's gone way too long. We're close enough, Eric. You can stop reading out the paper now.
But anyway, then people were saying to me, you're wasted here. You should be doing something with that. But I never knew about the stand-up comedy scene. I didn't know one existed in Ireland, you know what I mean? Yeah. Even though it did exist, I didn't know. I was never at a gig, like, you know. I'd never even been to a stand-up comedy gig. So I said, fuck it. And then my missus saw the poster in the window in the shop in Ballymun Shopping Centre. And she goes, there's a stand-up comedy workshop, audition thing next week. And I was going, what? An audition? She goes, yeah, it just says blah, 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 blah. And I went, all right, fuck it, I'll go down. And that was it. And
That was her fault you quit the job.
Her fault, yeah. You shouldn't have told me about that poster.
And you were never at a gig before that? You never watched stand-up?
No.
That is
No,
crazy.
I probably would have seen on television, but never at a live gig.
And it's completely different, isn't it?
100%.
Oh, it's completely different.
Like, you'll see great comedians on TV, on Netflix or whatever, and you'll break your shit laughing, but I guarantee you'll laugh even harder if you're in the audience.
Oh yeah, you feel it. It has the atmosphere and all.
There's nothing like it.
What was it like back then though? Because there's a few clubs around now.
Black and white.
used to cycle in at Penny Farthings. I remember meeting Willa at the traffic lights in his hot air balloon. You're on the International, give us a lift. And he scaled down the ladder we did, and into the tavern. And we did jokes for all the
peasants.
Yeah, the peasants, yeah.
Right, that was a good one, right? Fair play, fuck the doings. No, but was there many clubs around back then? Like, because there's a few now, a few big ones, and there's obviously a few little ones scattered around.
There's loads now, like millions of them. I suppose what happened when we did the workshop with Des, he was telling us about the stand-up comedy scene. We started to learn about it, and he ran the International Comedy Club in town, the one there off Grafton Street, Sedan Street there, upstairs. And that, to all intents and purposes, is the home of Irish comedy. Anyone that's been a comedian in Ireland has played there or has grown up there and matured there.
Walking up the stairs, it has pictures of everybody.
That's right, yeah.
Talking about.
And we Dad said, right guys, I'm going to bring you to the International Comedy Club. And we were like, oh yeah, fucking deadly. I thought, fucking nice one, sounds really glamorous, International Comedy Club. Yeah. And then we walked into that place.
The worst toilets in the world as well.
I walked up the stairs and I went, where's the club, Des? He goes, you're fucking sitting in it, bro. I was like, this is it. But then the comedy started and the comedians went on. I remember seeing Bernard O'Shea, who's still doing it now. Bernard's brilliant. Yeah. He was one of the acts on and just being blown away by how funny they were, the noise of laughter from the crowd and going, jeez, this is fucking deadly.
Yeah.
And then we did, like, not many comedians can say their very first gig was ever broadcast to the nation, but ours was, like, and that was such a fucking nervous wreck of a time. But we got through it. And then we applied for open spots at various clubs like the International and all that. And then the gigs just start taking off, and it was just there's no better. Like, it's still to this day. Like, I turned around to Willa going, "This is fucking great, isn't it? Like,
that's unreal.
Making a living from this, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Like, making
the dream.
There's lads in town that do 100%. That 7 nights a week, like, and the buzz, like, in those rooms every night of the week is unbelievable. Like, it's class.
It can be. Come here, look. There's not every gig is amazing. Like, and like, even though sometimes you're on stage and the crowd reaction has been great, you're always your own biggest critic as well. And sometimes you walk off stage going, and the place is an uproar, but you're going, you didn't really I didn't feel it there. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't connect with them, or I didn't feel like it connect. And then they're all coming, that was amazing. Going, should have seen me last night.
I was giving it allowance.
So it's just one of them things. I mean, it's I've never tired of it. There's been moments where you're kind of going, like, as I said, when I was questioning whether I should have quit my job, but by and large, I'm kind of going, best decision I've ever made. And even now, over the last couple of years, I feel like there's been like a resurgence in my career, comedy wise, and a lot of that's to do with the podcast, and also post COVID. Like, during COVID, we all thought we're never going to get back to doing this again. This is a load of bollocks. And we were doing gigs into fucking laptops to accountants and all. Like,
what was that? Like, that must have been the weirdest thing ever.
It's horrific because you're standing there in your kitchen, like with your top on, and they can't see below the waist. You have a pair of Spider-Man clicks on. You know what I mean?
Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah. And then like that, and you can see them on the little windows, and they're not interested. They're just there because the job have made them. Look, we put on some entertainment for you. They don't want to be there. We don't want to be there.
You're not even really learning anything from that as well. It's not like you can go, at least I was on stage.
It's not a gig. It's not like, the only thing that was good about it was that I suppose you felt like you were earning something. You were getting a bit of money in. Because all our revenue just dried up. You had no income at all. Like,
that's
because
we couldn't even wrap our heads around, obviously, because it's not a full-time job for us forever, but I can't imagine being in a situation like that and then literally you haven't got a cent coming in.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Overnight like that.
Yeah. So then we were kind of like, even though they were tough, you were still happy to do them because at least it would bring some money in. Like, you know what I mean?
Of course.
But they were horrible, thankless fucking gigs. You know what I mean? But and I think what happened then was in the lockdown, I was going, I tell you what, if we fucking get out of this, I'm gonna write fucking magic. I'm gonna and I think what I'm in a new position now where I savour everything. You know what I mean? I savour every gig and go. You just can't take this shit for granted anymore. Like, you know what I mean?
That's great.
And I love it.
That's great.
And I go on, like, whether it's a room full of 20 people or a room full of 1,000 people, I go on with the same passion and energy and go, right, let's go, let's have it. You know,
because you're taking away from it. We missed that now. Obviously, we only started like 6 months ago, so we hear all the war stories of people who've been through it, and they've like, oh, we had 3 whatever years off or whatever.
A lot of people say, like, when did you start COVID? When did you start COVID?
Oh, when did you start?
You started.
I met this monkey in Wuhan, right?
Some hasn't it? But we say to people, when did you start? And we say 6 months ago, whatever. And when did you start? And they'd say 5 years ago, but not really.
Yeah, because they had that 2 or 3 year gap.
Exactly, so it's weird for them figuring out. But I had something to say there. Oh yeah, so see after that then, and I heard you say as well before, so you were doing this for, what, how many years then? That would have been about 14 years.
Yeah.
And then, so what was your biggest gig to date before that? Basically, this is going to lead into, recently you've obviously just done Liberty Hall. Yeah. So pre-COVID, what would have been your biggest gig?
My own gig, like, or supporting someone?
Both. Give us a
well, I would have opened for Des in Live at the Marquee down in Cork, which in front of 5,000 people, which was surreal. That's unreal. And then obviously I've done loads of gigs at Vicar Street, the Olympia, and they're magical venues because they hold 1,000, 1,100 or so, and they're both very different, but both amazing for comedy, especially, I think, Vicar Street. But also, then I did the Olympia there recently, and looking up at that big wall of people.
I'd say that's unreal.
It's
I
incredible.
heard you talk about Billy Connolly doing it there, and I was just thinking, you know what, he obviously knows what he's doing, and he picked that for a reason. Like.
But also, I think any comedian will tell you that the bigger the crowd, the easier the gig is. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, even though you think there's like, oh my God, there's 1,000 people out here, they're the easy ones to do.
Because nobody's threshold where you go, like, there's 1,000 here, I'm this nervous. There's 5,000, I'm still this nervous. It doesn't get more nervous.
No, not at all. I think if anything, the lower it gets, the more nervous you get. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're doing a gig in front of 20 people in a big room, it's tough because people are very self-conscious then. So when you so a good example would be the Edinburgh Fringe. Like, notoriously, there's so many shows over there, and you're competing against hundreds of shows every day, and you're trying to get people into your show. And then sometimes you could be walking out on stage, and you'd be in a room that holds 100, and there's like 11 people there. And they're spread out, and even though you're on fire, like you're doing the jokes on land and all that,
they're afraid to look.
They're almost because it'll draw attention to them. You know what I mean?
We've seen it. We're doing it. We're doing it, baby. We're still doing it.
It's not you're telling yourselves.
Yeah.
Oh, they're just afraid to laugh.
Is he having his own?
You must be joking.
Clip that one and stick it on Joe. That'd be a good one.
Stick it on Joe. But we obviously are fucking nobody. We haven't done big gigs.
Is it only starting?
Exactly, yeah. Rome wasn't built in a day, isn't that they say?
That's it.
But
did you see Gladiator?
No,
the second one.
I haven't seen the first one either.
Sorry, I thought you said you look like a gladiator. Thank you, good sir.
Can't see him, they call me.
No, I haven't seen it. But
sorry, just when you said Rome.
Yeah, so we've done gigs. Like, we've done gigs there where there's one person, like they literally there's someone brings a friend and that's the gig. You know what I mean? There's 6 or 7 comedians there, and then we've done gigs. Luckily enough, like he did a gig there. That was the biggest gig either one of us did. It was in Stitches on a Saturday night. Yeah. There was like 90 people there.
Yeah.
Like
it was actually 96.
96 people, sorry, yeah.
6 people.
But there's also, them gigs like in Stitches and the Comedy Crunch.
Sorry for that.
It's not 4 people, really.
But it's also, they're tough gigs as well because even though it's a big crowd, there's most of them are tourists.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
So you can't
and that's
gauge.
one thing I've had to learn how to do as well is like a lot of the Dublin gigs now are packed full of tourists. So you'd love to be walking out doing your Ballymun, Tala, Dublin stuff, but you can't. You know, you're kind of going, well, these ain't going to fucking understand what I'm talking about. Yeah. So, and even like, I even deliberately slow down and enunciate me words a bit more, just so that they because if we speak normal Dublin levels like we are now, the tourists are going, what the fuck is going on here? Is he speaking English here? What's going on?
Fuck, that's
you know,
mad.
so
it's mad.
So like, I heard Joe mentioning Boston, saying he brought us over. Me bollocks. I'm only joking with you, Joe.
That's a cracker. Did that just go into your head there?
Yeah,
I see the light bulb go off and you're like, here we go.
I remember that clip. I used to slagging them. So fair play to Eric and Will. I bring you over, Joe. Fuck off!
You didn't like it. You found it funny.
Well, I mean, when I'm breaking the shit, like, because we're always winding Joe up, like, he's been going fucking mad. I love Joe. He's fucking. And do you know what I would say? What I would say about Joe Dowlin, I would say Joe Dowlin is probably one of the most improved comedians in the country. In that, from when I first saw him to where he is now, he's fucking. It's night and day.
Really, yeah.
So much confidence. Some really clever, and he's got a brilliant way of connecting with the crowd. Like, you know what I mean? He just connects with
deadly.
them. Goes out as this mad fucking bogey bastard cunt, like, you know what I mean? But very quickly he wins you over, like, you know what I mean? And that's a huge thing for a comedian to have likability. And Joe has it in spades, like, you know what I mean? What are we talking about there a few minutes ago?
I don't know, but just what you said there.
Oh, Boston, sorry.
Yeah.
I was like, and I was going over with Will and Joe, tell Stardy boys, like, you know? And I'd have a bit more experience than the two boys of gigging abroad, like, you know what I mean? I would have done Edinburgh. I would have gigged all over Britain, and I would have gigged in Spain.
Is this from Zoom though, or is this?
No, really.
Where's in Kazakhstan?
Oh, if you want to talk about them gigs, I gigged in every country in the world. Like,
wait,
I gigged in the space station. Sorry, the PlayStation. And I was saying that to the boys going over, I said, boys, look, you cannot talk the way you do now. You're going to have to slow down. And like, what it does is it fucks up your own timings and your rhythms, but if you persevere with it, you'll reap the benefits, like, you know.
Yeah.
So we had one gig in the Anchor, Joe was telling me about, an amphitheatre. It was an outdoor gig, it's fucking weird. And it was just staff, really, of the pub that were there, and a few Irish J1ers. And it was a tough gig, but it was a good gig in a way, because we learned what worked and what didn't work for the big gigs that were coming afterwards. So we were in Laugh Boston the next night, which is one of the biggest comedy clubs in America. You know, when you walk into it, like we were talking at the International, there's a couple of pictures of the people in there, in the foyer. It's wall to wall of fucking Dave Chappelle, fucking Chris Rock. You know, all the biggest comedians in America are all on this wall. They've all played there, and we knew that. And we were going in, going, Jesus Christ, the fucking state of us three bogies coming in here, like, you know what I mean? And we got some American Boston fella to MC for us. You know,
American Boston.
One of those.
But he was like, he was third generation Irish. His name was Logan O'Brien.
Oh, he's an O'Brien as well.
I'm not fucking Logan.
Not far
Logan
off.
O'Brien. And Boston Airport is Logan Airport, you know. So it was like they made up somebody's, you know.
Yeah, just made.
We got this fella in for you, Heathrow O'Keefe. What? Sorry. So,
Dublin Airport. O'Connell.
So he did the MCing for us, and I said to the boys, now, you know, slow down, and they did, and they were fucking, they fucking nailed it.
To change our words and all, I think you heard you say, you can't say pram, you have to say
stroller
and shit like that.
You had to go to the shop, you go to the store.
Yeah.
You know, had to show it in the patio, had to shake in the pavement. You know?
Show you on the pavement, still
Or
show
the
you.
sidewalk.
That is a learning curve, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It's a big time.
Even the Brits as well. Like, they're very, like, even though we speak the same language and all, we're very different to the Brits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
they still
definitely
see us as these feral country muck savages, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you do have to change a few things when you're over there, but the great thing about Dublin now is that it's because it's so fucking multicultural.
Yeah.
Every gig feels like it's abroad. Do you know what I mean?
It really does.
Yeah.
It really does. Like, it's mainly just internationals, like tourists.
We've done, say, 50 gigs now, right? I'd say
That's a lot of gigs in 6 months. Fair fucks, lads.
Yeah, thank you, man. Gives another company there.
But that's what I mean. That's how the comedy landscape has changed. Because when we started out, like, it was very hard. Like, you'd apply for open spots in clubs, but you'd be on like a 3, 4, 5, 6 month waiting list.
Yeah, but see, when you're actually good at it, though, right? This is what we had there, couldn't
I should have been watching AC Milan and fucking
Slovan Bratislava, yeah. Fuck's sake. Des as well brought us on. Des was doing a big tour at the time, the Fitting In tour it was called, and he brought us on tour with him. He brought some of the lads from the show. He says, the TV show hadn't even come out at this stage, so he'd be walking out on Vicar Street going, okay, guys, I've got a new TV show coming out next year called Joy in the Hood, is where I go into disadvantaged areas and the new comedic talent. So I've got two of my boys here. First started Willow White, and Will would walk out, already started. There was a few minutes, and then he'd introduce me, and I was like, and all of a sudden we were getting used to playing Vicar Street, the Cork Opera House, the INEC.
That's unreal.
Massive venues. And then when that tour was over, the dream was over, because we had to go back to doing
Fucking
open
little
spots.
shitty
Me with
places,
touring up and down the country, playing back at people's sheds and all, like, you know what I mean?
Benjamin Buttons is what start out on top.
It was fucking amazing. It was spoiled us to an extent,
Of
but
course.
then you know you just
But you
know
need
you
to have,
still have
that's
to,
an experience. If you never get the,
yeah.
you
Oh,
gotta
exactly.
do it.
Yeah.
Like obviously,
but
went
also
on and done it,
it got us. It kind of accelerated us a little bit because we became good quickly. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And then when we were doing the open spots, we were full of confidence, and we were going in and fucking smashing them. And then people were going, "Oh yeah, we get him in for the paid slot the next time," kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
you know
And
what
they
I
know
mean?
you're capable of doing it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that's
exactly.
genuine
So
as well,
I've
'cause
seen
I
that.
feel like that could be a worry
Yeah.
that people might just buckle under the pressure or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think like I don't think you can buckle under. Well, like, I suppose you can. Right? I remember doing one of the shows in the Ballymun in the House of Fun, and I walked out on stage, and I was doing my 10-minute slot. And every month we'd write new stuff for it, like, you know, so we try out new stuff, never been here before. I remember going out and starting off, got a few laughs, fucking delighted, and then my mind just went blank. And they're all staring at me, and I was going, I tell you what, I'm not to forget me material. And they all went, ah! And I was going, no, I'm serious. I remember turning around to Willa and Dean going, lads, my notes there and that like that. And they were like, oh. And the crowd were thinking it was part of the act, breaking up Alex laughing. And I actually walked off stage and came back with the notes going, I'm fucking serious. And he broke their bollocks laughing, you know. But I think, yeah, that's the only time it's kind of, I had a moment of panic or a memory block. Like, you know, it hasn't happened since. Touch wood, it doesn't happen again, like, you know.
I heard you talk on, I think it was the one with Tommy when you were talking about doing a play where you had to talk for 45 minutes.
Yeah. For 90 minutes, 45 minutes first half, 45 minutes second half.
45 minutes.
This is with the turkey.
Yeah, it does.
With that turkey. The turkey, not that. The only turkey.
The main turkey.
Well, you've done your own solo shows before.
Yeah.
So what's different between doing that, reading 45 minutes worth of lines, and then your own
Well, I mean,
jokes?
the difference is like when you're doing your own solo show, you've written all that material, so it's very familiar to you.
Yeah.
And you don't have, you kind of have an idea of the order of it in your head, but you don't have to stick to it religiously.
True, yeah, true.
Whereas if you're in the play and jump to Act 2 before you finished Act 1, people are going to go, what the fuck's he talking about? Where's he gone with that? And I always felt an extra pressure because it was someone
And then
else's.
she died.
Yeah,
No,
and you woke up and it was all a dream. What? You were in a bread fan a minute ago. You know, so it's. I felt the play is more pressure because you're trying to justify and give weight to other people's words and how they'd written it and how they wanted you to perform it. So when you make a mistake, you've let them down. Yeah. Whereas when you make a mistake yourself, you've only let yourself down, and you can recover it, and you can slag yourself off, and then boom back into it.
Yeah,
like, you
true.
know?
Yeah. Because that's what something I was thinking. I was like, because obviously I'd be terrified to do a play because I'd be afraid of the lines. But I'm like that with comedy now a bit. Anyway, I always do try to meander my way around it.
Yeah.
And
That's what I'd say. When he said that there, I thought you straight away.
Yeah.
See the way you said when you're doing your comedy, you can go back to something. See, at the start especially, I don't know if you're like this, probably a bit different, but like we are kind of like, you start with your 35, you start with your 27, so everything's nearly word for word.
Oh yeah.
But he especially is one of the ones I have to give him praise here. I hate doing it, but he doesn't like that at all. So he doesn't like because he thinks
You don't like a
not
structure as such. Then
I do and I don't like, but I'm just afraid that if I imagine it in my head and I get it, I know I'm saying it wrong, it'll fuck me up. Like, so I just try to, I know my topics and I know me.
You know the points you need to hit.
Yeah. So
and you can swap and change them. You've done that, you go back here.
Yeah.
Whereas I think, because especially at the start where I had mine like a robot. Like,
I'm the same. I'm still like,
same,
and like even to an extent I probably still am. Like when I go out into the lounge now, if I'm doing, like you're doing half an hour to close, like I have a really good idea of what I'm going to be doing and what order I'm going to be doing. And but again, sometimes when you're on stage, something could happen and the crowd throws you off.
That's what I'm afraid of learning. It's so strict.
But that's what experience teaches you. Then you just don't panic about it. You make a joke of it, you observe it, you say something to it, and then you leave and say to the audience, "What was he talking about?" And they shout it up to you. Go, "Oh, right, yeah, you're paying attention." All that kind of shit, and then off you go, kind of thing. Like, you know,
that's experience, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is. And nothing can replace experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what I'd say to you is you're only starting out, is just keep at it, and don't let anyone tell you you can't do it or you aren't funny. You obviously have funny chops because you're both making each other laugh there. I'm only buzzing. So you can genuinely feel an energy off you, a funny energy, like, you know what I mean? So you have comedy chops, so stick with it and just do as many gigs. Even if they're shitty.
Back to you.
And even if it's just do as many gigs as you can, even if they're shit gigs. You'll learn more from the shit gigs than you will the good gigs. 100%, like, you know what I mean?
You know, I don't know a lot, like, obviously I'm so new, like, but see the way you're saying that, it's so hard to think that in the time. Like, in the moment when you have a shit gig, I think you'd agree.
Yeah.
Like, that you learn nothing from that. Then next day when you're looking at it, you're like, you do. You
Yeah,
do, like, you know what I mean?
100%. And do you record your gigs?
All of them,
Yeah, that's hugely important because you need to watch back at yourself and look at yourself and go, and like, you probably look at a bit that got a laugh previously and didn't get a laugh that time. And you're like, what the fuck? And it might not even be anything wrong with the joke or the way you delivered it. It was just the way the energy was in the crowd that day. That happens with comedy a lot. You do a gig one night on a Friday night, goes all right. And you do the exact same gig the next night and you're nearly carried out in a king's chair, standing ovations. You're like, fuck, it's just the energy in the room sometimes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
so many different avenues with it. Like,
it's so, what you call it. Anyway.
What would be your favourite gig? What would be your dream gig to do? Your dream solo show? What venue?
I would love to do, like Willie's done it already. I would love to do a solo show in either the Olympia or Vicar Street. Yeah. That's me goal. Like, and that was always my goal. And I kind of went off course for a while. I was comfortable. I was doing club gigs all the time. I was getting booked all the time doing the festivals. And I think only over the last while I've realised, you know, and it's Will as well. Will as like me one of my best mates, and he'd say to me, "But Eric, if I can do it, you can fucking do it." Like, you know. Yeah. So he's kind of got me believing in myself again. And then I did the Liberty Hall show there a couple of months ago, and it was the greatest night of my comedy career so far in terms of how much I enjoyed it. Like, I couldn't believe the amount of tickets I sold, and like, I was panicking all the way up to it, going, "Oh my god, I haven't sold enough tickets. I haven't sold enough tickets." And then on the night, I was like, "Wow, fucking nice one!" Delighted, like, you know. And it's such an amazing feeling. Like, you're side stage, and I had Brian Gallagher opening for me, and he did great. He did 20-25 minutes, and then there's an interval.
Seen Brian last night,
we seen Brian last night.
With the big beard?
Yeah.
Brian's a diamond. I love Brian. Loads of time for Brian. And he went on, he smashed it, he did great. But even he came into the dressing room going, I thought you did great, Brian. I don't know, Charles. No, listen, I'm getting texts off my ma here saying you're fucking dead. He said, shut your face, all right? And then you kind of get going, Jesus Christ, I'm going on now. Like, you know, 5 minutes, your man comes in, goes, right, 5 minutes. And you're like, oh, Jesus Christ, here we go. And then we're walking down the corridor, and your man from MCD's there, Brian's there. There's the sound technician guy, the front of house guy is on the mic saying he's ready to go now. He's ready to go. Play the music. And they're like, Jesus. And I walked out, and just a big roar.
That's class.
And you're like, just lift you, gets rid of all the fucking.
I was kind of still stunned a little bit, and for whatever reason, the mic is usually in the centre of the stage, but for some reason it was way over on the left. So I walked out going, nice one, fucking nice. I went over and put my towel and my water on the table, looked around, where's the fucking mic? Back over there to walk back over. But I made a joke of it, and they were all, Yeah. But that's the great thing about doing your own gigs, is that they're all there to see you. And it's a beautiful thing because you feel more relaxed and more free. And I was even trying out stuff I'd never done before, like, you know what I mean?
Just in the sport of the moment.
Little ideas I might have been kind of having that I might develop.
Yeah. You're confident to do it.
Throw it out there now and see, and getting good reactions. And based on that show alone, I've got new bits of material that I'm doing now because I tried them out that night and I got the reactions going right and developed them a bit more, and now they're going great, like, you know. But it's an amazing feeling to have a whole load of people who paid money to come and see you. There's a freedom to it. There's a softness to it. It's just fucking beautiful. I didn't want the night to end. I did an hour and 10 minutes, I think it was, where it flew by. And the greatest compliment I got as well was other people who were at the show going, when you said it was over, we were like, what the fuck? It couldn't be over already. They all thought it felt like about half an hour, 40 minutes,
the biggest
which is a great thing. Yeah, exactly.
That's the truth. See what you were saying there. That's the dream, what you want, isn't it? Like every single thing you said. You sold tickets, people are there to see you.
It's amazing.
You felt, that's fucking...
It's stressful, of course, leading up to trying to sell the tickets, and I felt like a prick on social media. Please come to my show, please. Every 5 minutes. He must be sick of me now at this stage, but please come to my show. And they were throwing me on radio stations and fucking doing interviews with press journalists and 6 o'clock show and all of that stuff that comes with it. But you're happy to do it because you're trying to sell your own show, you know what I mean? But that's the dream. The dream now, look, at MCD, we're delighted with the numbers I got, and they're like, right, we'll talk to you about another show now in the new year, you know. Now I don't know when that'll be, but obviously the dream. But the podcast is helping usually because
100%.
As I said, it's getting bigger, the numbers are getting bigger. We did the live podcast show there a couple of weeks ago in the lounge. It was sold out on a Wednesday night. We're like, what the fuck?
What was that like? Mental. Obviously, you've done the pub quiz and stuff like that before.
Yeah, it was amazing because it's like we didn't really. We had Roddy on, and we had his son, and we had Paul, Kieran Moran, who opened for the Wolftones in the 3 Arena for 3 nights. He's an inner city lad, lives in Ballymun, just a singer-songwriter, brilliant voice. He came on, did a few tunes. We walked on. We did this video, actually. We did a video where I'm standing outside the Gresham and Will-A's in having a shy. And he comes out and I'm like, fuck's sake, Will-A. And he's going, Eric, it's pre-gig nerves. And we're just walking down O'Connell Street, the camera's following us. And then we get to the top of O'Connell Street and we're turning left towards the Laughter Lounge and going, right, you ready for this? We walk into the lounge, Holly's at the door, we go, Holly's not many in, she goes, it's packed. Go, right, sound. But we recorded all that about 2 days before it. So the people in the lounge itself were watching this video of us walking down the street as if it was happening live.
Yeah, that's class.
Do you know what I mean?
That's deadly.
And then we got to the doors and then the doors opened and the place just went, and we were like, here we go.
Get you going. Honestly, like, that's it. Like, that's what we want.
And Belters Only were in as well because apparently they love the podcast, so they were in at the show. And Will-A was speaking to one of them beforehand, and he just brought out the "Oh stop, bro! Bro!" And he said, "Could we use that for a walk on?" Your man's going, "Yeah, 100%." So we walked on to that, like, you know. So and when they stopped applauding, he said, "Look, big shout out to the boys in Belters Only for letting us play that new track." And everyone was like, "They're fucking here!" It was a great night. It was a mixture of, you know, interviews, a lot of laughter, obviously with Roddy. And Will-A was on fire that night as well, and the rave announcers were saying every so often out of the blue,
get up and dance.
We were having a joke about it. Imagine we were talking about something real serious, like, so Roddy, your mother died, yeah. And everyone was like,
very sorry, you're very sorry.
And then sitting back down and go,
it's alright. You're going no.
So it was a magical night, you know what I mean? It really was. It flew in.
That's deadly.
Again, 2 45-minute halves, but it flew by. We were like, what's over already?
So
we'll definitely be doing another one.
Love to do that.
That was the goal, isn't it? Do something like that.
Yeah, they set yourself goals, you know what I mean? Dream big.
That's 100%.
Manifest that shit.
Yeah, and you see what he's down there as well. Do you listen to a lot of American comics?
Not really, no. I don't really listen to much comedy, to be honest.
No way, that's mad, isn't it? Like,
yeah. I mean, there's comics that I love that I would see clips of them on Instagram or TikTok and I go, I love them. Established comics, you know Because I love there's a Canadian comic who's based in the UK, Tom Stade. Okay. He's fucking amazing, and we had him on the podcast as well. But he's just brilliant. If you check him out if you get a chance, Stade, Tom Stade, amazing comic. There's a few others as well. I mean, Dave Chappelle, of course, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like the big guns, they're obviously big guns for a reason. They're fucking talented, like, you know what I mean?
Like, aren't they?
Yeah. Ricky Gervais and all, and you know, there's like these lads are just imperial.
Famous American comic.
I said from all around the world, are he?
And he's on Zoom.
He's this deadly one from Bangladesh as well. Actually, here's the thing, right? Like, so you know the way we do have a multicultural population now, right? So the Laughter Lounge gets hired out. Like, Laughter Lounge coming out to Friday night, Saturday night, but it gets hired out on a Sunday night some nights and a Thursday night some nights, and they fly in some big Polish comic.
Really?
And the place is rammed full of Polish people. And there was an Indian comic came in one time, right? And Laughter Lounge ring and go, Eric, fucking Rafshun Shimshim is coming in this week. Do you want to open for them? And I was like, what? I said, so the whole Indian's going to be all Indians? And they were like, yeah. I said, oh, Jesus. And I went, fuck it, you know what, I'll give it a go. So I went in, and your man, the Indian comic, he was a lovely fella, and he's like millions of followers on Instagram. Millions. And he took a picture with me. You know, goes, here's my support act, great Irish comic, Eric Lalor. And we're in about an hour. 855 new Indian followers, like.
That's
unbelievable, yeah.
You're another one of them.
But I went up on stage and I knew, obviously, this is not my demographic. But he was going, I just started early. But I kind of just globalized everything and slowed down a little bit. And I fucking stormed it. I couldn't believe it. And I walked back off stage. And then he told another Indian comic. And I did his one then as well a few weeks later, kind of thing, like, you know.
That's a proper compliment, though, isn't it, when you do that? Like,
when you can make a room full of different nationalities laugh their asses off like that, you're kind of going, geez, well, you've got something right, Eric, you know what I mean?
And especially when they're not there to see you.
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
I mean? That's even more.
And that's another thing about being a support act. That's always, like, and that's the thing what I always say, if I'm ever supporting somebody, a big name, and I walk out on stage, one of my first lines is always, You're all fucking sick now, ain't you? Oh no, a poxy supporter. Well, fuck you. I'm here for 20 minutes. All right, strap in. Let's go.
That's not that way to do it. Not that way to do it.
So it's
come here, we're coming to the end, right? Because I can see Carl over there. He's giving me those eyes.
His dress is nice, isn't it? He wears a lovely dress, Carl.
That's the thing about Carl, yeah. No one knows what he looks like, but we just know he wears a dress.
He wears a dress?
Yeah, look at him. Do you not know us?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I see what we're doing here, yeah. The man who's never seen.
We
Carl the dress man.
What did Joe say? Carl the crossdresser.
You can start calling him Carla.
Carla.
But we haven't even scratched the surface with you. I had. See that? Fucking pure spider.
Just got you. I mean, scratch the surface.
But I'm spilling it.
He needs to start biting his tongue. Biting his lip. Bite your tongue.
But we haven't even scratched the surface with you, and I have so much stuff to say.
We'll
but
come back again.
No, honestly, we'd love to have you back again.
Yeah, definitely.
This isn't just like I'm saying that so he says he'll come. But we want to even talk about football, League of Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just mention it real quick. Well, I'll just
here we go. Fuck off. Mobbos. Red and blacks.
But as we keep saying, like, living the dream, what is unreal as well. So obviously you do the comedy. We hate people say the comedy. But you do comedy, you do acting, you've done the plays and stuff, and doing commentary for football.
Oh, Jesus,
getting paid for all. That's the dream, man. Honestly, that's what we look up to and say, like, except Bowes now.
I didn't get paid by Bowes either.
You paid him. But no, Greg Buxy, you're living like basically every laugh in Dublin that wants to do shit like that. You're living that dream.
And it's, come here, it's not impossible. It's fucking, if you really want it and you've got a bit of a talent about you, you'll get there. Definitely. But just have a bit of patience and keep working on it. You'll get there, no bother.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's fucking brilliant. And genuinely, we would love to have you back.
I'd love to come back, boys.
And if you ever want those on yours, like, that's all right.
You're jamming.
Thanks very much, Eric. These two lads out in Tala, right?
We're not from Tala, that's Joe.
Oh, Newcastle, is it?
What? No.
We're from Drimnagh.
Drimnagh?
It's the
Yeah, we're
accent.
from Drimnagh.
Oi, oi. No, we're from Drimnagh.
Where are you, man? Oh, really saying it? I swear to God, I've got these two lads from Newcastle, right? And they're fucking funny. I said, you having a song? Too right, I am.
Have you got anything you want to say before you go? Anything you want to plug? Obviously the podcast or whatever.
Oh, no. I mean, obviously, sorry. Myself, Willie and Joe and a couple of other guests are doing 6 shows in the Ambassador this December 6th, 7th, 24th, 21st and 27th and 28th. 6 shows, Christmas shows, Christmas themed. So Willa's going to be hosting. It's called Willa's White Christmas. I'm doing 15 minutes at each of them. So is Joe. And we've got special guests. Enya Martin is one of the guests as well. And Mike Rice and Danny O'Brien.
We've seen Mike Rice last night.
Last night. That's where we're
fucking he's brilliant.
Dark as fuck now, but he's a great fella. I loved Mike. He's coming on the podcast as well. So ask him. Can you come with him? That reminds me. Sorry, I know you have to go. One last thing. I'm enjoying myself here.
You look sexy now, Jess.
Carl, next time you shave your legs. But I was. It just reminded me of something. Carl, you know Carl Spain. Carl Spain's a great comic.
Yeah.
Like, but I remember when I was starting out doing comedy, I was down doing a gig in the Roisin Dove in Galway, right? And there was this headliner from New Zealand, right? And Carl was saying, and he's a cunt. He's always doing this, and he's bringing people on. He always does something about them. But he goes, ladies and gentlemen, what can I say about this next act? When people ask me who is the best comedian to come out of New Zealand over the last few years, I say, see this fella here? He's from New Zealand, ask him. That's Carl Spain.
That's fucking guys.
Eric, you can talk for a while, man. I love it. Honestly, we haven't even scratched the surface with you.
No worries.
But thanks for giving
some crack there, man.
Cheers, boys.
Thanks for giving us your time.
No problem.
Cheers. On your podcast sound. Thanks, Eric.
Appreciate it.